Hi there, it's Rachel from Sage. How are you today? I hope you're well. So by request, I'm going to create a 1980s inspired makeup look. And I'm going to use an image from Pinterest of the remarkable Brooke Shields. And in the 1980s, there were few fashion icons quite like her. The whole Mummages story. If you haven't watched her documentary, you really should. It's fantastic. Her book is also great. She's also very active on Instagram and TikTok and speaks at length about the women's roles in society and building women up in business and entrepreneurship, because she was not ever just a model. As you know, she had a massive and ever expanding business throughout her adult life once she left behind the teenage years of being basically controlled by other people. More or less an everyday look, and is inspired definitely by the work of her key makeup artist for the Calvin Klein campaign, infamous campaigns in the 80s. And the makeup artist was Joey Mills. So I'm obviously going to insert the picture here that I'm referring to, and I'm going to change things just a little bit to make it suit my eye, etc., because her eye shape is very much almond, mine is round. So I'll be doing a few things to adjust to that. And also that image is of her when she was about 16, 17 years old. I'm 52. So take that into consideration. Now, if you know anything about Brooke Shields and her iconic look, the thing that people always spoke about the most, of course, the fluffy brows. So that's where we're going to start today. The brows were kept very natural and fluffy. Now, I do not have the delightful full brow that she had and still does have, actually. She's hung on to her brows very well. They are very much a signature of her, but I am going to spread mine out with this fantastic Maybelline Superlock, and I'm really not focusing on the filling in. I might fill in a few spots where I am a little bit hairless, but other than that, I'm just wanting them to be as expansive as possible. And with all the modern lamination products, we can do this so easily. They would have had to do it in the 80s with powder and a spoolie, and then go back in and fluff again, and setting them down probably with hairspray or hair gel for a photo shoot, because brows move, they move around, don't they, if you don't set them. So that's sort of as big as I can get mine, and that will do for now. I'm going to prime my lids off camera because you don't need to see. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I won't be doing my hair 1980s style. I just can't subject my hair to that level of abuse. I mean, I probably would need a whole hand of hairspray to get my hair to do anything anyway. And I am in the process of trying to fix my damaged hair. So I will just sort of style it, a bit roughly, because the big hair, Brooke Shields still has beautiful hair, and it was curled, it was coiffured. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. It would have had hot rollers in it. Her hair was also quite long. Still is long. Right, eye makeup, back to that. Now, no, self-respecting 1980s makeup look was without the magic of eyeliner. And it was heavy. It was heavy. The tight lining was critical. Now I'm actually starting with a brown here, and I've got a traditional pencil, which is what they would have used in the 80s. A coal, or like coal from a pigment pot. That's what makeup artists would have used and still do use for photographic purposes. There would have been a lot of multi-use of products. So lipstick as blush, that's what pretty much I'm going to do today as well, because the shade of blush that she's wearing in the image, I don't have it. So I'm going to recreate it with lipstick, and that's pretty typical as to how they would have done it. Right, so we have a lot of eyeliner here. I've probably done it a little bit too thick on the top line, to be honest. I need to close my eye to do this part because I have a lot of folds of skin there. But the eyeliner came all the way in, which is so the opposite of what I like to do. No wings. There were no wings with eyeliner. It was just straight around the eye to make it look smaller. Okay, now I'm going to go over that with black. I don't actually have a black. I don't have a black traditional pencil anymore. I finished it up after how many years? So I don't wear black eyeliner much anymore. And I'm just running that right along the lash line to deepen that and really do that tight line a bit darker. This is how so many women, especially the tight lining thing, and men, let's be honest, there's a lot of men wearing makeup in the 80s, were doing their everyday makeup. It would probably be big hair, eyeliner, mascara, lipstick, and that was what most people did. The notion of wearing foundations and highlighters and blush too, of course, any of that stuff really wasn't a typical feature of the era. Because, to be frank, there just was not the range of makeup products available to consumers. And shade ranges, wow, there was no such thing as a shade range, no such thing. Everything was pink, like pink, really pink foundation. Skin tone, you just had to hope for the best. And flashback was a huge issue in for photographic situations. I'm going to go in with some satin shades now. This very light one here, essentially a buff, I suppose, to create that light here in the center of the face. Obviously not taking it all the way out because we're going to be getting quite smoky and shaped with our shadow. Sort of like arcs of light and colour. Frosty up there for sure. As I said, her makeup tended to be more natural, everyday, than, other celebrity makeup, but was incredibly influential. The hair, the brows, all of that. Okay, we've got some light happening there. but not enough. So let's put more. Right, now I'm going to go in with the caramel here through the crease. The makeup artist Joey Mills really favoured semi-sunset looks on Brooke, which is interesting because that is still sort of, well, maybe not now so much, but was quite a trend up until quite recently. Going to deepen that up with the shade in the center of this palette, which is that, what would you call it, coffee color. And I'm really blowing it out here. I'm getting ready to add the black, don't worry, it's coming. Right, some more of a deeper brown from that palette. Blowing that out. Really smoking that down here with the same brush. So his makeup, Joey Mills's makeup, emphasized contrast, light and dark. So light to dark is what I'm doing here. And you can see I've blown it right out. That is very deliberate. That is the shape as best I can create it on my face of her eye makeup. Now, I'm going in with a matte black now from a Pat McGrath palette. Her blacks are really, really good and really black. And I'm deepening this outer V with it. So I'm going to stamp it and pull it out like that, and then I'm going to blend. This may have even been done with an eyeliner in the 80s because eyeshadow palettes didn't exist except quads or singles. Those Revlon, remember those Revlon ones? They're still around, which is pretty wild. The colour stories haven't changed a lot either, I have to say. Right, do we need more black? Of course we do, of course we do. So these satin shadows here are allowing that blown out look. They're bringing the light to that outer area. Sorry, they're bringing the light to the brow bone and to the inner corner quite well. I just need a clean brush to blend a little bit more. And I'll go in with a mixture of the caramel and the buff to do that. Shimmery eyeshadow, satin eyeshadow, very much the thing. We're going to be putting on some mascara now. False lashes. Nobody wore them. Right, so we've got a deep smoke with a gradient of colour. We put on some mascara, black of course, although people were wearing coloured mascaras in the 80s. I don't know how they produced that. Maybe they mixed some eyeshadow with some, I don't know, glycerin or something. I I don't recall there being coloured mascaras. Maybe you do, let me know. All right, keep in mind, this is an old face, doing this very dramatic look. But this is pretty much an everyday 1980s, before we started calling things smoky eye, this is the shape that they were often creating. All right, I'm going to fill in the brows now, fill in my brows just a little bit off camera. Okay, I finished the other eye, minus the brow. I need to do the brow, I forgot to do the brow. Right, so now I'm using a modern makeup product, a concealer in a tube with a doe foot to brighten. This is the Natasha Denona P2. This is going to look more sort of 2016 at the moment, doing this shape. But I have to get that line right. That's pretty good. Right, I'm going to fix this brow up and then we're going to keep going. Wow. All right, going in with the N3 now is basically foundation. Yes, I know I've already put one on, but not enough coverage. Not enough coverage for the 80s. Most people, I remember Mum wearing very little foundation. She probably wore a bit of powder, but mostly she wore mascara, lipstick, eyeshadow, and eyeliner. Sometimes eyeliner, not very often. But in photographic makeup, it's always pretty heavy. It would have been like Max Factor pancake makeup sort of stuff. All right, now we need to really bronze, don't we? I'm going to use a shimmery bronzy product here. And it was also here in the picture. Lots of it up here. This is a bit scary, isn't it? Okay, sorry about that. I keep kicking the stand. I need to move it back. Right, let's, I don't know, try and blend, but I don't really want to change the placement too much because that, you know, sun-kissed look was very, you know, Hawaiian tropic. Considered a healthy skin. Oh dear. It's funny, like the supermodels of the 90s, I think by then people were starting to say no to the sun exposure. And you look at the supermodels from the 90s now, and well, I suppose particularly the European ones, because the culture of tanning was not quite so intense there as it was in America and certainly here in Australia. And their skin is much better. Like, they have a lot less sun damage. Brooke Shields always will have miraculous cheekbones. Most models, photographic editorial models, are chosen for such features. They're interesting shape features, not, obviously beautiful, but there's some subjectivity to their beauty as well, because a makeup artist, an editor, is looking for a particular type of face. That's nowhere near bronze enough, is it? Nowhere near. Right, let's keep going. Let's add some more. A different formula this time. Take it all the way up there. This is the heaviest makeup I've put on my face in a very, very long time. So we can never, when people say, oh, they want that natural look that was in that photograph or that ad campaign, there's absolutely no way that there was anything natural on their face. They looked heavy and made up in person, and then when you turn the camera and the lights on, it all gets sucked out. If you've ever been on stage, or if you've had to do your kids' makeup for their local concert or whatever, their school concert, you'll know exactly what I mean, that even on beautiful children's skin, and the teacher says you need to do this much, and you put it on, and the teacher says no, that is nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough makeup. Okay, here we go with the blush now. I'm not going to set anything down yet because I'm still building. Right, this is the colour. I think it matches perfectly with the picture. Placement is really key here. It's a Revlon lipstick, so that's certainly generational. Right, here we go. People talk about blush blindness now. In the 1980s, blush blindness was next level. Next level. And the colours were so clown. All right. That's pretty good. Like, in the sense of the look I'm recreating here. I'm tapping really carefully because I don't want to move the placement of the lipstick, which I've used as blush, too much. My shape face is nothing like hers, of course. So I'm having to factor that in here. Blurring of the edges, not so critical in the 80s. but impact color, definitely critical. And I think you can see that that is where we're at right now. Once I powder down, things will start to look a bit less clown. That's what usually happens. Right, having said that, I'm going to put some primer on my lips because they're in for a shock. All right, feeling ridiculous at this point. Okay, let's powder. Let's see if we can pull this together. Okay, that's taking care of the cheek a little bit. I'm going to have to do like a big dust of powder here. Lots of light. Wild lip. Oh. That's so much editing there just to get the lip right. And it's not. Sorry, I just can't get that depth. I just can't get that shape right on my face. It's just not possible for me. Okay, I've got a really pinky peachy lip cheek palette here that I'm going to just dive into and just plonk up here for that extra clown. And then I'm going to sweep back there and make it sharper. Like that. That's better. Apart from the lip, everything's sort of okay. This is not easy, folks. It's not just simply a matter of plonking shadow on, plonking a whole lot of makeup on. There's a lot of steps that I've had to do. And it's not perfect, but here we are. I feel like I'm looking more like Madonna at this point. That's okay. I love her. Oh, if I'm going to do Madonna, I need something, don't I? I need something. Let's do it. That's probably too big. Let's just blend that out a little bit. Or all together and start again. Did I get the placement right? So I started off with Brooke Shields and I've ended up more with Madonna / Blondie Debbie Harry hair. I can't do Brooke Shields' hair. She has fabulous hair. I do not have fabulous hair. So yeah, this is what we're at. It's settled down a bit, right? Everything is just so maximalist. That's what I would say. Everything is blown out. Everything is colorful. Everything is, amplified. So in that way, the style of makeup is not unlike the 2016 to 2020 high glam, but the style is definitely different. There's no cut crease here. There's, an emphasis on blush. There's certainly the big lips, very much started in the 80s. I'm sort of thinking maybe Linda Evans hair. If you know, you know. Anyway, I've enjoyed doing this makeup look, but I don't really like it on myself. This is just even too much for me. So thanks for watching. I don't know if you got anything out of this or not. It was just a nostalgia trip. I hope it was fun for you. It was kind of fun for me until I got to the lip, but here we are. And have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you for watching.